Welcome to the 5th class of Intermediate Module B, our final class of this module. So by now you know the drill, gathering all of your yoga stuff, and let's get right into our practice. Starting in Sukhasana, the right ankle crossed in front of the left. Taking a moment to widen those sit bones apart several times, so that we have a nice, broad, firm, connected foundation. The palms turned open to the sky and the eyes closing. Finding our breath and establishing a rhythm with the breath. Seeing that the breath moves everywhere, that the breath brings energy and attention everywhere. Making sure that everything that needs to ascend is ascending, that everything that needs to descend is descending. And through these adjustments, penetrating more and more deeply. And then lifting the hands and pressing the palms together. And opening our practice together with one arm. Inhale. The hands releasing. And the eyelids opening. All right, ready to begin. So let's move whatever we were sitting on out of the way and come and meet at the front of our mats for our first hanging Uttanasana. From Tadasana, widening the feet apart, the width of the mat, toes slightly in, heels slightly out, hands on the hips, elbows back. Inhale, look up. And exhaling forward, grip the legs as you come down. And then holding on to the upper arms with our hands, dropping the head right down, hanging Uttanasana. Press into both of the feet evenly and equally. Grip the kneecaps up, grip the quadricep muscles up, sharpen the head of that femur bone. And pull the elbows towards the ground. And now releasing the hands, bending the knees, placing the hands on the mat, spreading the palms, spreading the fingers, and jumping or stepping back to Adho Mukha Svanasana with the heels lifted and the knees purposefully bent. Stretch the arms. Relax the cervical spine and the skull. Feel the femurs coming into the hip sockets. And now with an exhale, let's straighten the legs, keeping the femurs into the hip sockets. Push the front thighs back. Peak the sit bones up. Keep stretching the arms and stretching the legs. And 2. And 1. Coming forward to plank pose. Stabilizing, lifting the organs up. Chaturanga or Ardha Chaturanga with the knees on the ground. Inhale. And exhale, scoop the outer elbows in, lift the front shoulders, squeeze the inner knees if your legs are straight. And back to plank pose. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Legs straight, arms straight. The weight of the pose moving back. Stepping the right leg forward to a nice wide lunge. And rocking ourselves forward and backwards, just greeting the body, opening up the outer layers. Resting the back knee on the ground. And now bringing this front foot across to the left. And as much as possible, keeping the shin parallel to the front of the mat. And coming down by moving the back leg back. Exhaling forward. Send the exhalation as a stream of dissolvingness into the hip. And then bringing the hands back in, bringing the foot back to the floor, and stepping back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. In this downward dog, try to press the heels down. Keep the shins pushing back, the front thighs pushing back, and the sit bones lifting. And coming to plank pose. Ready for Chaturanga. Squeeze the outer arms in, the outer elbows in, the front shoulders lifted. And 2, press into the hands. And 1, back up. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Heels pressing down. The line underneath the buttocks lifting up to the sky, and then the cervical spine relaxing and lengthening. And now stepping the left leg forward to a nice wide lunge. And greeting this leg, this groin, this hip as we rock forward and backwards. The back knee resting on the ground. And moving this left foot over to the right. Shin as much as possible, parallel. Coming in by moving the back leg back and exhaling forward. Long, soft, smooth breath so that we can maximize the utility of the exhalation. Imagine it streaming, a stream of light going to the hip, releasing, dissolving. And coming back up, moving the foot back to the mat, and stepping back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Vibrantly keep that alertness. Everything that you feel that is still sleepy, awaken it, give it attention, send breath there. And coming to plank pose, last one here, stabilized, let the buttocks lift. If you're doing Ardha Chaturanga, bend your knees, put them to the floor, and ascending together. Press into the hands. And 3, and 2, and 1. Back up, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Last one, really peak the sit bones to the sky. Maximize the openings. Get deeper into the pose. And now walking the feet forward, feet the width of the mat. Changing the cross of the arms from the first hanging Uttanasana and dropping the head down. Relax the neck completely. Regrip your knees, regrip your thighs. Sharpness. And then placing the hands on the hips, elbows back. Inhaling up. And stepping the feet together. Tadasana. Deep inhalation, deep exhalation. And we are ready to face the long edge of our mat for Utthita Trikonasana. So if you like to use blocks, take your blocks. If you're using chairs, take your chairs. And let's begin. From Tadasana. Bending the knees, lifting the elbows, and jumping out. going to the right. Gripping the legs. Inhale. Exhale, reaching. Absorb the head of that front femur bone. Coming down, coming down, coming down. And then reach, place the webbing of the hand where it lands on the leg or the hand on the block. Stretch the arms apart, but draw the top of the arm bones into the shoulder sockets. And with each exhale, turn and twist the trunk to the sky. And again. Keep the outside edge of that back foot firm. Preparing to lift up. Inhale. And turning to the left-hand side. Firmness everywhere. Re-stretch, re-grip the legs. Lift the chest. Inhale. And exhale, reaching. Absorb the head of that left femur bone in as you reach, 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 reach. And then coming down, webbing at the hand where it lands. Top arm to the sky. Let the breath and attention circulate everywhere. Stretch the arms apart. Draw the arm bones into the shoulder sockets. And with each exhale, turning and twisting to the sky. And again. And again. Keep the outside edge of that back foot firm, the back inner knee squeezed. And 2. And 1. Inhaling up. Turning the feet in. And jumping the feet together. Uttanasana. Parsvottanasana. Jump. Turning to the right. Remember to have a wide stance. Grip the legs. Lift the chest. Inhale. Through Virabhadrasana 2. And into Parsvottanasana stage 1. Turn the top arm. And extend the arm diagonally. Fully into Parsvottanasana. Now come into contact with the outside edge of this front thigh. And press it against the arm. And from there, use the exhale to twist more. And again. And again. If there was a mirror in front of you, you would want to be able to see the bottom side of your trunk in the mirror. So turn and twist, turn and twist. And 3. And 2. And 1. Coming back out and up. And turning to the left-hand side. Re-grip the legs, re-lift the chest, inhale, exhale through Virabhadrasana 2 and into Parsvottanasana stage 1, turn the top arm and extend into the full pose. Now connect with the sensation of the outer edge of that front thigh against the inner arm, press them against each other and from that, with the exhale, twist to the sky. Over and over again, twisting and turning. That's it, keep the outside edge of the back foot firm, squeeze the back inner knee, think of the mirror in front of you, and 3, and 2, and 1. Inhaling up, turning the feet in, and jumping the feet together. Uttanasana. Coming to face the short edge of the mat, hanging Uttanasana. Inhale, exhale. Taking hold of the arms, dropping the head down. Keep gripping the legs. Keep adjusting, keep traveling everywhere and through those adjustments. Getting deeper and deeper. Releasing the hands, placing the hands on the floor and jumping or stepping back to Gomukhasana.
And now stepping the right leg forward, finding Simplified Parsvottanasana. Press that back heel down. And now jumping the feet to change sides. Simplified Parsvottanasana on the left. Heels firm, shoulders broad. Now we're going to step the back leg forward and find hanging Uttanasana. Changing the cross of the arms from the first one, dropping the head right down. Penetrating. And then hands to the hips. Inhaling up. And Uttanasana. Turning to face the long edge of the mat. Virabhadrasana 1, followed by Virabhadrasana 2. Preparing. And jumping. Checking the feet. Turning the arms, re-stretching. Lifting up with everything that we could lift with. Lift. Turning to the right first, we turn the back foot in, moving the weight into the back heel, which lightens the front foot and helps us to turn. The back foot is not turned in all the way, but we want to roll the back shin in, roll the back thigh in, and see how that helps our hips. Re-stretch the arms. Inhale and exhale. Keep the back heel firm as you come down. Absorb the front femur bone as you come down. Now move your tailbones forward so that they caress the back of the pubic bone. Now use the arms to pull the pubic bone up, to pull the belly button up, to pull the kidneys up. Now lift the chin to lift the chest up. And 2, and 1. Inhaling back up. Turning back through the middle. Check your feet, they're still in line with each other. Change the cross of the thumbs behind the hands. Re-lift. Going to the left hand side. Turning the back foot in. Moving the weight into the back heel. And turning to face the short edge of the mat. Roll that back shin in, roll the back thigh in, feel the hips turn, re-stretch the arms. Inhale and exhale. As you exhale down, keep the back heel firm and keep absorbing that front femur bone in, deepening as much as the vehicle will allow. Now move your tailbone forward, visualize that inside the body, that it's moving forward and rubbing the back of the pubic bone. Then use the arms to lift up. That's it, stretch the waist, lift the kidneys up, lift higher, stretch the armpits. Now lift the chin to lift the chest. And 2, and 1. Inhaling back up. Turn back through the middle. Extend. Turn the palms back in. And jump the feet together. Tadasana. Use Tadasana as a place to neutralize and to inhabit the whole body evenly again. And getting ready to jump for Virabhadrasana 2. And jumping. Turning to the right. Gripping the legs. Squeezing the outer hips towards each other so the buttocks aren't moving back like this. The buttocks are facing down. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale. Now check the front leg and adjust the foot accordingly so the knee is over the heel. Check the back foot, turn the back foot in a little bit, lift the inner arch, the inner ankle, push into the outside edge of that foot. And now turn the head to look over the front arm. The organs are being pulled by the back arm. Shoulder blades going down the back. Trapezius muscles going down the back. And pretend that your hands are pressing on something to help engage the muscles of the arms. And 3, and 2, and 1. Inhaling up. Turning and to the left-hand side. Re-grip the legs to avoid this tendency. Grip and squeeze the outer hips towards each other so the buttocks are facing down, they're even. Stretch the arms. Lift the chest. Inhale. Exhale. Make a square. Check. Adjust so that more and more you're really penetrating the meaning of this 90-degree angle. The back foot turning in slightly, push into the outside edge of the back foot. Squeeze the back inner knee. And now turn the head to look over the front arm. But keep the back arm strong and purposeful. Eyes coming out of the back of the skull, helping it to stay alive so that the back arm can pull the organs towards it. Trapezius muscles down the back and press the hands on an imaginary substance to contract the muscles around the armpits. And 3, and 2, and 1. Inhaling up. Turn the feet in. And jump the feet together. Uttanasana. Hanging Uttanasana. Inhale. Exhale. Grip the legs as you come down. And hold on to the upper arms. Keep the shoulders broad, the face relaxed. Check your knees are still lifting, that the quadriceps is still lifting. And then releasing the hands, place the hands on the mat and step or jump back to Gomukhasana. Find the shoulder blades and try to press the shoulder blades into the upper back, pumping them. And then walking the feet forward again, hanging Uttanasana, changing the cross of our arms. Hands on the hips, elbows back, and lifting up, chest lifting, and stepping the feet together. Uttanasana. Right, Parsvottanasana next. So preparing to jump. Bringing the hands behind in an inverted namaskar, Paschima Namaskara. Try to move the outer arms back and press the dorsal spine forward to open the chest. Going to the right, so we're turning the back foot in, bringing our weight towards the back foot to help us lighten and turn the front foot. Like Padottanasana 1, that back foot is not turned in completely, but the back shin has to turn in and the back thigh has to turn in. Grip the legs. Inhale.
And exhaling forward. As the trunk comes forward, the legs and the hips move back. If you're feeling wobbliness, make sure that that front big toe is pressing down. Keep turning the back shin in, the back thigh in to keep the hips facing in the direction that you want them to. Keep gripping the leg muscles upwards. And with the exhale, turn the right abdomen to the left. Preparing to come up. Press into the back heel for stability. Inhaling up. Grip the legs again. Outer arms back and turning through the middle. To the other side. Turn the back foot in. Move the weight into the back foot in order to bring this front foot forward. Make sure that the back shin is turning in, that the back thigh is turning in. Grip the legs, outer arms back, chest lifting. Inhale and exhaling forward as the trunk comes forward. The legs and hips are moving back. If you're feeling wobbliness on the front foot, make sure that your front big toe is connecting firmly into the ground. Smooth breath. Keep the back heel firm, the back inner knee squeezed. And roll that back shin in, roll the back thigh in, feel the hips react. That front outer hip wants to move back. With your next exhale, turn the abdomen to the left over that front leg. And preparing to lift. Press into the back heel, inhaling up. Back through the middle. And releasing the hands onto the hips. Prasarita, Padottanasana next. We're going to do it with a strap today because it gives extraordinary sensation and sensitivity. So, grabbing a strap and making a nice big loop so that the loop will be large enough for your feet to be in the pose of Prasarita Padottanasana. So one foot and then the other, widening. If the buckle's in the middle, you'll always be able to make it a little wider or smaller once you're down. Turn the toes in, the heels out, feel the strap on the outside edges of the feet. Outer arms back, chest lifting. Grip those legs. Inhale. And exhale, coming forward. Grip the legs as you come down. That's often the place where we just forget about gripping the legs. Keep gripping up, gripping up, gripping up. Coming to stage one. Press into the outside edges of the straps. Lift the inner arches, the inner ankles. Feel how the strap brings stability there. Now, dig your back ribs in. Chest forward. And preparing to come into stage two of the pose. Exhaling down. And moving the hands back so that they're on the strap. So actually the heel of the hand is a little bit past the strap. Now look at your elbows, squeeze the outer elbows in towards each other. Press the hands down firmly, activate. Move the elbows towards the shoulders and see how that helps to lift the shoulders.
Keep gripping the legs up. Have that rhythm with the breath. The breath extending everywhere. And then hands staying where they are. Inhale, look up. Hands to the hips. Grip the legs. Inhaling up. And then releasing. Heels in, toes in, heels in, toes in. And stepping the feet together. Uttanasana. Alright, time for Padottanasana, preparation 1 and 2. So we're coming to the wall. We're taking any padding that we might want for underneath our knees and meeting back there. Padottanasana 2 first. So coming up, kneeling, lifting that right leg up, moving it out to the side, and then extending. This is where we see if we're the right distance from the wall, so that our foot is flush up against the wall and this knee is underneath this hip. Don't let the hips do this. Grip the legs and feel firmness and stability. This front thigh is rolling open as it grips up. Mudrasana, lifting, palms together, re-lift, and exhaling over, finding the wall. The hands separate. If the top hand can't reach, don't worry, just having it there, dynamic, stretching. The bottom hand coming down as low as it can. Try to push that left hip away from the wall. Try to scoop the right buttock bone forward, don't let it pop out behind you. And now with the exhale, turning and twisting the trunk. And again. Visualize that mirror in front of you, like our Parsvottanasana. You want to be seeing the bottom waist in the mirror. And 2, and 1. Inhaling back up. And exhaling down. Turning around and changing sides. Kneeling. Lifting the left leg up, moving it out. And extending and checking your distance, your alignment. Look at this knee and make sure it's not rolling in. Roll it open and grip so that through the legs you reach the hips and you stabilize them. And then Mudrasana. Palms together, cross, re-lift. Inhale, exhale. Hands separate, finding the wall. Remember not to worry if your top hand isn't reaching yet, it still just stays dynamic. The bottom hand coming close to the foot. Keep the legs gripped and try to push the outer right hip away from the wall more and more. And to move that front left buttock bone forward. And now with the exhale, turning and twisting. Up to the sky. With each exhale, turning and twisting. And 3, and 2, and 1. Inhaling back up. Grip the legs. Reach. And exhale and releasing. And moving the leg. And coming in. Alright, preparation 1. So you stay facing the same side you were facing and we move into the wall. Don't touch the wall completely yet. Bring the right foot up, out to the side, extend, and now move into the wall. So the whole outside edge of your left body is touching the wall, and turn this foot in to 11 o'clock and seal it by pushing into the outside edge of that foot. Mudrasana. Really stretching upwards. The arms are really important in this preparation. Inhale And exhale. Push the left hip against the wall, and from that, stretch further away. Check that there are no kinks in your elbows. Really charge the arms with energy. Extending away, and now with the exhale, try and twist the trunk to the sky. And again. And 2, re-stretch the arms. And 1, inhaling up. And exhaling down. And releasing. Turning around, changing sides. So don't touch the wall quite yet. We'll come into it once our leg is up. Bringing the left leg up and open. Extend. Move into the wall, connecting. And then turn that foot to 2 o'clock and seal it by pressing into the outside edge of the foot. Grip the legs, Urdhva Hastasana. Inhale, have that charge, that electrical awareness everywhere. And exhale. Push the hip against the wall. And from that, extend even further than you thought possible. Really maximize, reach into it. And now with each exhale, let's work on turning the trunk up to the sky. Watch the kinks in the elbows. Stretch the arms. Turn. And again, re-stretch. Turn. And inhaling up. And exhale, releasing. Bringing the foot back in. And back to kneeling and sitting down. Congratulations. Our standing poses are now over. We're going to move our mat back to the room, making sure you have your blankets, strap, maybe a bolster around you. And our first pose is going to be Sukhasana. So just as we started class, Sukhasana, the right ankle cross in front of the left. The higher your knees lift, the more you want to have some height underneath the hips. There is no point pressing the knees down. The opening has to come from the hips. So judge what's right for the vehicle that you're in. And now pulling the sit bones back and up to the side. Parsvottanasana in Sukhasana. Extend the arms, interlock the fingers, turn the palms out, tips of the thumbs touching. And inhale and lift the arms up. Move the outer arms forward, so this part of the arm forward. But move the arms in general back, behind the ears. Press the thighs down and re-lift the arms. That's it. And 2. And 1. Bringing the arms back down, releasing, changing the interlock. Turn the palms out. And inhale and lift up. See how very often we'll cramp the legs as we lift up. Relax them down. Press into the buttock bones and re-lift the arms. Moving the outer arms forward, but the arms in general back behind the ears. That's it. And 3, and 2, and 1. Bringing the arms down and releasing. Yoga Mudrasana in Sukhasana. Inhale. Exhaling forward as you come forward, the hips moving back. Even out the breath, be with that evenness, let the evenness penetrate everywhere. Keep the arms vibrant, don't let the elbows be bent. Press into the fingertips to move and push the hips and buttocks back. And then coming back up and changing the cross of the ankles. Widening our sit bones apart.
Parsvottanasana in Sukhasana. Extend the arms, interlock the fingers, turn the palms out, push through those hands, and inhale up. Watch for the lifting of the knees. Relax the thighs downwards again. Find the sit bones. And from there, extend and lift upwards. See if you can feel the cellular chest lifting upwards. Move the trapezius muscles down the back. Re-lift. And 5, and 4, and 3, and 2. Reach for the ceiling. And 1. Coming down. Changing the interlock. Turning the palms out. Inhale. Exhale. And then lift. Again, re-relax those thighs. They're grippingness there. So that's descending energy in the thighs and ascending energy in the trunk, in the arms. The armpits are stretching. The underneath of the arms are being exposed. Go deeper into that. Push up through the heels of the hands. That's it. Lift the cellular chest. And 3. Good. And 2. Squeeze those elbows straight. And 1. Coming back down. And releasing. Yoga Mudrasana. Inhale. And as we come forward, the front groins moving back so the hips can ground back. Even and smooth breath. See what your organs are doing. Is the belly just hanging unconsciously? If it is, lightly lift the belly button towards the lower back as you extend forward. And then exiting and releasing. All right, it's now time for our Vajrasana cycle. So if you like to have a blanket underneath, just for general padding on the shins and the dorsal feet, go ahead and do that. I'm going to just keep one blanket for between the calves and the knees. And we do need our 2 straps. So one goes around the ankles. And then the other, there we go, going around the knees. Buckle always in the middle, right between the knees. And now our blanket to bring space to the backs of the knees. And we sit down. Remember that if you're feeling uneasiness in the knees, to take the skin of the kneecaps and to draw it up. Widen the sit bones apart. And here we are in Vajrasana. Parsvottanasana in Vajrasana. Extend the arms, interlock the fingers, turn the palms out. And lifting up. Iron the front thighs downwards, and from that downward energy, find more and more potential to lift up. Visualize the columns of the trunk and extend them and lengthen them. And 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Coming back down and changing the interlock of the fingers. Back out and re-lifting. Feel the tops of both of your feet, the tops of the shins, and press the front thighs down evenly into those. And from there, lifting upwards. That's it, lift the chin a little bit to help the cellular chest lift. Exploring those new sensations, getting deeper than before. And 3, and 2, and 1, coming back down, and exhale, and releasing. Shoulder openers after Yoga Mudrasana. So we're coming forward, and we're going to allow ourselves Just a little bit of widening on the knees. It helps to come down. As we come forward, the front groins are moving back. Yoga Mudrasana.
Don't let the forearms drop down to the ground. Press into the fingertips and lift the forearms up. Keep spiraling the arms so the inner elbows are facing the sky as much as possible. Smooth and even breath that allows our attention to follow that. Stretching forward and pushing back, the outer thighs cutting down towards the ground. And now let the forehead come to the floor. If for some reason it doesn't reach, put blankets, put a block, anything so that the forehead is supported, and bring the arms to rest by the side of the body, child's pose. Bring the hands now behind the back, interlock the fingers together, and lift those arms up and over. Stay with the even rhythm of the breath. Preparing to bring our arms over to the right. So first of all, we have to lift the forehead up, move the abdomen to the left, forehead back down, and then with an exhale, bringing the arms over to the right. Relax the throat, relax the jaw. Keep trying to roll the front of that left shoulder open more and more. The bottom hand is pulling the top arm across. And then back up to the middle. Preparing to go to the left. So turning the abdomen to the left, the forehead back to the ground. And exhaling the arms over. Even breath. The evenness will help calm the rigidity, will help make the cells more receptive to opening, to change. Keep having that bottom hand pull the top up across. And then back up. Remember the interlock that you have. And exhaling the arms back down to the ground, Balasana, child's pose. With an exhalation, relax everything that had become a little bit tense. Just feeling ourselves completely melting into the ground. And now bringing the hands again behind the back, changing the interlock of the fingers, and lifting the arms back up. Our second and last set. Observe how on the second time, the body trusts more, it opens more. Keep using the hands to pull the front shoulders up to the sky. Preparing to bring the arms over to the right. So adjusting the trunk and then exhaling those arms across. If it's very hard to keep the hands together because the shoulders are tight, you can always make a little loop in a strap and put the hands through that loop. So the loop would be just above the wrists and that will help you to keep the arms together, to get into the shoulders. And then back up to the middle, almost done now. Turning the abdomen to the right, forehead to the ground, and exhaling the arms over to the left. Watch carefully that you're not tightening your tongue, your jaw, your neck, all those areas that are often associated with the shoulders that are kind of linked in unconsciously. And then back up. And exhale, releasing the arms down. Balasana, child's pose. Rolling back up and finding Vajrasana. Parsvottanasana in Vajrasana. Interlock the fingers, turn the palms out. Lifting up, outer arms forward. Inhale, and turn and twist to the right. Keep lengthening the columns of the trunk as we turn and twist. Sometimes little short exhales really help to make a change. Back through the middle and to the left. Keep squeezing the elbows. Back to the middle and bringing the arms down. And Vajrasana. Changing the interlock of the fingers. Lift the arms up, change the interlock, turn the palms out, and lifting up, and twisting to the right. Parsvottanasana in Vajrasana. Keep pressing the front thighs down. Second time we'll bring more. Pushing up through the heels of the hands. And 2. And 1. Back to the middle. Inhale. And exhale. Keep pulling the arms back behind the ears, squeezing the elbows straight, pushing through the hands, and 2, and 1. Back to the middle. And exhale, and Vajrasana. Almost there, I'm sure you're feeling your feet and you can't wait to take the strap off. Gomukhasana. So extending the left arm, you can't really see, so I'll show you here. Extending the left arm to the side like that. And with an exhale, bending the elbow and bringing the hand back. Lifting the right arm up, scooping the outer elbow in, bending, hand on the shoulder, lifting the elbow up without letting it move out, and then joining whatever we can behind the back. You can always take a strap. And here we are. Press the front thighs down. Avoid pushing the head forward. Relax into it. Have that even rhythmic breath. The bottom hand is pulling the top hand down. We're going to release the hands now. Bring the outer elbow in, coming down as we started. Extend the arm. Release the left arm to the side. And be in Vajrasana. Changing sides. Extending the right arm. And with an exhale, bending that elbow and bringing the hand up.
Extend the left arm, bending the elbow, holding the shoulder, scooping the outer elbow in as we lift it up, and then seeing what we can find. Even breath, neutral expression on the face. Make sure your lower back isn't overarching here. Keep moving that top elbow tip up to the sky, up to the sky. And releasing the fingertips, coming out as we came in. Giving clear messages to the vehicle, Vajrasana. And now we get to release ourselves. So of course, we're always so happy to get that strap off the ankles. And just moving this right leg out and extending the leg. And then doing the same with the left. And coming down. All right, next up is our Virasana cycle. So if you like to have a bolster for Supta Virasana, you're going to want to have that close by, and obviously a blanket for the neck and head and a strap. If you're using 2 bolsters, take 2 bolsters. Do everything that works for you to get into the pose and feel supported and make the most out of it. Okay, so Virasana. 1 strap, putting it over, strap buckle in the middle, and then spreading the feet apart, pulling the calves back and out, and here we are, pressing the outer feet down in Virasana. Well, guess what? Padottanasana in Virasana. Stretch the arms forward, interlock the fingers, turn the palms out, tips of the thumbs touching, and inhale and lifting up. Each breath making us taller. And 2, and 1. Bring the arms halfway down, changing the interlock of the fingers, turning back out, and lifting up, Padottanasana in Virasana. If your tendency is to arch with the lower back, check that this is not happening here right now. Keep pressing the front thighs down and getting taller and longer. And 2, and 1. Coming back down and releasing Virasana. Coming forward to Yoga Mudrasana with the knees together. So remember, as we come forward, our front groins are moving back. Long, soft, smooth inhalations and exhalations. Keep the shoulders broad away from the ears. Keep the neck long. and then coming back up and Virasana. So it's now time for Padottanasana. We're going to use 2 blocks in today's practice for another variation of supported Padottanasana. So grabbing our blocks, which are hopefully right next to you, and actually I'm going to have to move forward a little bit. So we're placing the blocks behind us, and this second block is tilted like this. It just gives a really nice support for the neck. First of all, checking that when you lie back, the blocks are between the shoulder blades a little bit lower. So I'm actually a little bit too far away. I'm going to move forward, back, checking again. And when you check, at that last moment, you have to really coil the upper back to find the block. There we go. And then you can see that the back of my skull is supported on the diagonalized block. Once you have that, extend the arms back behind, keeping the arm bones coming into the shoulder sockets. And then bend the arms and hold on to the outer arms. And here we are in a version of Padottanasana. Even and smooth breath. The front thighs pressing down. The buttocks on the earth. Try to go with the action of the block in the back. In other words, to absorb it, to make that imprint, to deepen it, so that we feel the chest opening and we feel the ribs right underneath the nipple area, broadening and opening as we pull the elbow tips back and down. We're going to change the cross of the arms. So first of all, re-stretch, get that parallelness, and draw the arm bones into the shoulder sockets again. And then bending the elbows, change the cross of the arms, hold on to the outer arms, and begin to pull the elbow tips back and down, and to press the dorsal spine, the thoracic ribs, up to the sky. Press the front thighs down. Feel that gorgeous spaciousness that's coming to the abdominal cavity. Feel how the bottom ribs are really starting to lift up away from the often tight area of the top abdomen and the diaphragm. And one last time, try to press those back ribs up to get maximum opening in the front chest, the side ribs. That's it. And 2, and 1. Re-stretch the arms back. And then bring the hands back to the feet. And lifting up. Moving the buttocks a little back. And being in Virasana. All right, moving our blocks now. And now it's Supta Virasana time. So again, whatever you need, bolsters, etc., put those into place. And by the way, when you're practicing from your sheets, after you've had enough of me and you're actually practicing from your practice sheets, you don't have to use the blocks in this variation at all. You can do it without blocks, you can do it with bolster. Just trying to show different variations to keep the practice interesting and accessible as well. All right, we're coming into Supta Virasana. So tilting the pelvis so that the sacrum is moving towards the front of the mat. Coming to lie down, making sure those feet aren't splaying. And remember, if you're on a bolster, you're crossing and holding the upper arms. And if you're on the mat, you're stretching, crossing the thumbs, and pulling the arms back for traction. Soft, smooth inhalations and exhalations. Taking the time to count the breath meticulously. Training the mind to stay connected with it.
And also filling the mind with this so that it doesn't run off into other thought. Even though we feel that we're in a quote-unquote passive pose, I'm sure you can agree that we're not. So don't let the arms get passive. Whether they're bent or straight, they have the important action of pulling away from us to lengthen the side columns of the trunk. As the front thighs open and become less resistant with practice, this pose becomes really an abdominal stretch, a waist stretch, and a freeing of the ribs from the tightness of the top abdomen and the diaphragm, an area that's really congested for most of us because we're not doing this action. So here we're freeing that so that our organs and our energy can benefit from that. Make sure the sacrum is still moving towards the front of the mat. And now lifting the arms up, we're going to change the cross of the thumbs or change the cross of the arms and extending back down. Keep the tops of the feet active. Keep visualizing the curve of the front thighs flattening. And pull more and more with your arms to get that freedom in the abdominal area, that freedom in the lungs, the intercostal muscles. And check in with the evenness or the unevenness of the breath and try to have that rhythm established. And now lifting our arms back up, hands and arms back down, making our way up in the stages, remembering to draw the navel to the lower back. And then back up and lift the buttocks and move them back so that we're now sitting directly on the middle sit bones. Yoga Mudrasana, last one in this variation, but with our knees apart. So widening the knees. And as we come forward, integrating the femurs into the hip sockets. And then coming back. And we're going to just push ourselves up, hands forward. Bringing the right leg out and just easing the leg out. And then the same with the left. And coming out of that cycle. Okay, it's now time for our Shirshasana, headstand. So if you like to use the wall, you're going to the wall. And if not, you're gathering a blanket or folding your mat up
And we are going for Shirshasana 1. And we are ready. So extending the arms, turning the palms up to the sky, bending the elbows in and holding onto our shoulders. Placing the elbows down, interlocking, bracing, crown of the head to the floor. Don't let the elbows widen. Very common the moment we put the head down to the floor. Brace, press down with the forearms, lift the shoulders up and straighten the legs. Walking the feet in and coming up through our stages. So stage 1 first, bending the knees, bringing the heels to the buttocks, re-lifting the shoulders up. And now stage 2, bringing the kneecaps to the sky, finding a Virasana Vajrasana type pose in Shirshasana. And from here, straightening the legs and finding Shirshasana full pose. Find the rhythm of your breath. And travel around the body with the breath, adjusting what needs to be adjusted. And through those adjustments, going deeper and deeper into the pose. Being more and more with the self. As you push up through the length of the legs, and as you push out through the balls of the feet, make sure that the outer edges of the feet are coming down towards the hips continually. Check that your wrists haven't gotten light. Press them down and lift the shoulders up. Don't let the buttocks hang. Connect each buttock to each heel. The sacrum moving towards the heels. Squeeze the lats in towards each other. And puff the armpits out. Don't let them recede inwards like caves. Now keeping the big toes touching, just slightly spread the inner heels away from each other. Very slight. And with this action, roll the thighs in towards each other, press them towards the thigh bone, and feel the inner groins moving back. Now maintaining all of that, ensure that the rhythm of the breath is still even and established. And now coming out through our stages. So bending the knees through stage 2 and holding it there for a few breaths. Re-lift the shoulders. And then coming out through stage 1 and holding it here. Lats in, press the forearms down, finding that bracing action. And then extend the knees, feet to the floor. Coming down onto our knees, sitting on the heels, and Yoga Mudrasana.
Make sure that the sides of the neck are even and that the trapezius muscles are going down the back so the neck is emerging from the trunk. And then coming back up. And it's now time for Sarvangasana. So I've showed Sarvangasana with 2 bolsters, with blankets, choosing the variation that best suited you right now, knowing that the vehicle changes over time and new things that we didn't like before we then find comfortable and healthy. So experimenting every now and then. I'm going to go ahead and use 4 blankets and have that nice little diagonal edge for them, which I like on my neck. So gathering our equipment. Oh, and you might like to have 2 blocks for your knees in Padottanasana, and of course a strap. See you back on the mat. Remembering that the loop of our strap wants to go from one inner armpit to the other. So pre-preparing that. And if you're using blocks, I put mine here so you can see, you always have heights to choose from. And let's come in. Lifting up. Finding the loop and putting the arms through so that the strap is just above the elbows, interlocking and re-rolling our shoulders back. And they'll be quite open from all of our shoulder openers today. And then placing the hands on the back and preparing to come into Sarvangasana through our stages. So here we go, stage 1. Take a few breaths here. And then coming into stage 2. As we come into stage 2, the hands can move higher up the back and the middle buttocks can press forward. And then extending from stage 2 into full Sarvangasana. You can see your feet, so you can make sure that the inner feet are really lined up and that your toes are spreading, that there's space between all 10 toes. You can see your knees, so you can see if your knees are bent or really straight. And even here, upside down, have awareness around the femurs coming into the hip sockets, drawing them in. Try to press the outer arms down into the blanket. And if you feel that your hands are slipping, I suggest sliding your hands under your t-shirt and having the hands on your actual skin. Much more grip that way. If you're looking at your belly and it feels like it's really dropping towards you, just try to gently draw the navel to the lower back. It's not about having a flat belly and not having a belly. It's just about having the inner organs connect with the lower back in all poses. Try to get taller and taller. Make sure that the elbow tips are still really heavy. When they get light and the weight moves more to the skull, press the elbows down. If the elbows can't touch the blankets, you can always put a little folded blanket, an extra one, where the elbows would be to help you really connect there. And now try to get the hands higher up the back. Now looking at your feet again, keep the big toes touching and slightly spread the inner heels apart. And with the inner heels slightly spread apart, roll the thighs in towards each other and feel the inner groins move back. Now check in with the rhythm of your breath. Getting ready for Padottanasana. Fix the left leg and slowly lower the right leg down towards you. As it lowers, don't let the quadricep muscle hang off the bone. Push it upwards towards the bone. Roll both thighs in. Squeeze both inner knees. And bolt the outer hips towards each other. Coming back up to Sarvangasana. And Ekapada on the other side. Lowering with control, keeping the muscles contracted. Roll both thighs in, very slightly towards each other. And squeeze the inner knees. And bolt the outer hips. And coming back up to Sarvangasana. Coming down through our stages. Stage 2, bending the knees. Virasana, Mudrasana and Sarvangasana. Stage 1, the knees coming towards us. And then extending the legs and finding Uttanasana. Straps off the arms. Interlocking the fingers behind the back. Pressing the arms down, pressing the front thighs up. And here we are on the first side of our Uttanasana. Connect with the rhythm of the breath. And disperse the breath everywhere. Keep the big toes touching and slightly separate the inner heels so that the thighs can roll in towards each other, the inner groin moving to the sky. Now we're going to turn the palms open to the sky and invert our hands, pushing out through the heels of the hands. Relax the tongue, don't let the eyeballs bulge out. And now we're going to change the way we invert our hands. So turning the palms back in and turning the palms to the ground and pushing away. Femur is still coming into the hip sockets. And then hands coming back in. Let's change the interlock of our fingers now. And re-stretch the arms, roll the shoulders back. Second and last side of our Uttanasana. Femurs coming in, front groins deepening. Don't let the elbows be light. Press them down. And spiral the arms in such a way that you feel the back armpit coming to the front armpit. Now keeping the big toes touching, slightly separate the inner heels and roll the thighs in towards each other. The inner groin moving to the sky. Now let's invert our hands for that extra shoulder opening. So keeping the interlock, turn the palms up to the sky and push the heels of the hands away. Front shoulders rolling back. And now turn the hands back in, preparing for our last inversion of the hands, turning the palms down to the floor. And pushing the hands away. Front thighs pressing upwards to the thigh bone. And then bending the elbows, releasing the hands, bending the knees to the forehead. We're coming into Padottanasana. And then spreading the knees apart and resting them on the blocks or on the floor. And being on the tops of the feet. Going for a Shavasana application today. So we're going to wrap the arms around behind of the knees and hold onto the elbows. Soft, smooth inhalations and exhalations. At the exhale, begin that process of pacification, leading us towards Shavasana. And now changing the cross of the arms and resettling. Diffusing the breath evenly everywhere. Femurs still coming into the hip sockets. And then the hands coming to the floor in order to help us come out of the pose with ease, with mindfulness. And moving back, you might have to just move the blocks if you were using blocks. And resting in a light Uttanasana, the inner knees supporting each other. Sending the exhale to the bowl of the abdomen, that it can really deepen the bowl shape. And now, coming up. And we are almost there. One last asana, Uttanasana Vajrasana. So we've showed it several ways. We showed it with bolster under the spine, blocks, mat, no mat. I'm going to do classical Uttanasana Vajrasana today. So I'm going to have no mat and I'll have a block underneath my tailbone and a block against the wall for the heels and straps around my legs. Choosing the version that best suits you today, and let's meet back
for our last and final Setu Bandha Salamandasa. Legs through the strap. Now remember, if this is a pose that has been tweaking your lower back, just have more height underneath the feet until the malleability comes to the upper back, and then you can start to reduce. I'm going to go for lowest height today, and then the other block is here, ready and waiting to get underneath the tailbone area. So lying down, lifting the hips and placing the block. Placing the feet on the block against the wall and pushing back and pulling that block with us until the legs are straight. Interlock the fingers around the back of that block. If possible, the big toes, the inner big toes touching, and the inner heels slightly away from each other to aid us in really rolling the thighs in towards each other, the inner groins moving towards the block, but the tailbone moving towards the sky and the middle buttocks pressing up towards the sky. Keep inviting the bowl shape of the abdomen area to be revealed more and more. Press those arms down. They become our feet. As they press down, we can find that energy that rises upwards, that presses the back body up, the shoulder blades up, the ribs underneath the shoulder blades up, for that maximum opening, the solar plexus, the sternum plate, the ribs underneath the breasts and the nipples, the side ribs. We're going to change the interlock of the fingers behind the block. Re-roll each of our shoulders back. Press the arms down and activate the back body again. As much as the chest is lifting and the ribs are broadening, the front throat is soft, is quiet. The cheeks also soft. The eyeballs receding backwards. Press the heels down. Press the front thighs down. Bolt the outer hips towards each other to help maintain that firmness in the lumbar. Make sure your abdomen hasn't started to puff up. Remember the bowl shape of the abdominal cavity. And we're going to bend our legs now and bring the feet back to the floor. Pressing into the feet to engage the buttocks, the hips, and to lift them up whilst tilting them so the sacrum is still moving towards the knees, and coming back down to the block, and back up, and back down. Last time, back up, moving the block, and coming down, ensuring that the lumbar has connection with the earth. The abdomen receding towards the lumbar. And now removing the strap from our legs. go, we're coming up. Almost there. Your Mudrasana in Sukhasana with the block for the forehead. Taking 2 blocks if needed, or piling blankets up on the blocks so that the front forehead is supported. And coming forward. As we come forward, very important, belly button back, supporting the lower back. The hands also support. You're not just falling forward, you're pushing into the fingertips to push back whilst coming forward. And then back up, changing the cross of the ankles. Just before we go back down, take your fingers, your index fingers, and just put them in your ear and spiral inwards, reminding our ears of the Jalandhara Bandha spiral, which we want to find with our forehead on the block. Coming forward, the belly button moving back, the fingertips helping us to brace. Rhythmic, even breath cycles. The skin of the forehead moving towards the nose. And that inner spiral in the ears, the Jalandhara Bandha spiral of the ears. And re-emerging. Completely ready for Shavasana. We could take the blocks since we have them. So Shavasana, you could use a bolster under the knees, as you know well. Taking anything that you might need for your neck, for your skull. Lying down. Extending the legs if you don't have a bolster, finding Supta Tadasana, and then widening the feet apart a little bit, and rolling the legs open. Moving the sacrum towards the heels. We're going to use our blocks on our hands, so let's place the strap or any eye covering that you have over the eyes. And if you have a strap, it'll be long enough to go slightly over the ears too. Any of those senses of perception that are used to looking outwards, this just helps them to really turn inwards. And then we're going to take the blocks in our hands and turn our palms up to the sky with the blocks in the hands. Helping those of us whose fingers remain active with unconscious thought waves to really let go into a new layer of stillness. Observe the back body, make sure that it feels even, adjusting what doesn't. And when we're finally feeling ready, with an exhale, melting into Shavasana.
Gently just moving the blocks off the hands. And bringing the palms together in front of the chest. Sharing our love, our good intentions out with the universe. Loka samastaha sukhinho bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And then gently rolling over into the fetal position on the right hand side. And then emerging like a rebirth every time. So much purification happening with each practice, conscious and unconscious, happening whether you want it or not, the gift of the practice. So here we are at the end of our 5th class, and you now have 6 weeks to 2 months ahead of you to practice this. Getting to it every day is the challenging part, and that's really what a training is about. Igniting that discipline into our lives so that a day is not complete unless we have practiced this. And that's the hard part. There's always a reason to not practice. So how do you make that happen? I look forward to hearing about your experience in this module, the challenges you go through, the gifts that you receive, and I'll be waiting for you in module C. Namaste. Take care. See you soon.